Hey, welcome to Old Testament Survey. This is Lesson 8, and I'm going to give you a little teaching today. And we're going to go back to a few lessons and look at the book of Nehemiah and just give you a few principles from it. And we're going to see if we can cook up something on leadership. Of course, that's what this is all about. And Nehemiah is probably one of the best leaders in all the Bible. And you know, he wasn't a leader accidentally just because of he just stumbled onto the right things. He was called of God, prepared by God, and he had certain characteristics that made him a great leader, as well as the planning, and he knew what to do. So we're going to cook up. We have our pot here, and we have a spatula we can use to stir in here. And let's see, one of the first things, let me look at my recipe book. One of the first things that he did was he waited on God. Now, chapter 2 and verse 11 talks about how he waited on God. He went into the city, and then before he jumped into the rallying the people and rebuilding the walls, he just kind of waited. You know, he knew what he was to do. He already had that from God. So what you need to do is wait. In other words, don't get ahead of God. When he calls you to do something, you want to do every step in his time. So we're going to put some weight on God in there and kind of stir that around a little bit, make sure we've got it turned on the right way. And then, let me look at the cookbook. The second thing is survey the task. Now, he did that. And we've got a little survey right here. So we're going to pour that in also. He actually got on his donkey and he rode through the night before. He rode through the city and he looked at the walls and everything. He kind of looked at what he had to do. And he, as he surveyed, he looked at the amount of damage, how much rebuilding would have to be done. And we need to do that too. I mean, when you jump into something, you need to count the cost. You need to survey, you need to see what needs doing, regardless what type of job or task it is in your church or ministry, wherever it may be. Common sense. God gives us common sense. And he says, survey the task. That's what Nehemiah did. But notice also, he formulated a plan. His plan was to build up the wall of Jerusalem. And he didn't just jump in that. We've got some formulation right here. We're going to put that up in the pot. Maybe it's not too dirty. I washed the stove earlier, no problem. And we're going to stir that up because you always need that. Formulate a plan. I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? You need to know what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Don't just jump in and say, well, the Lord will bless this however he may. You know, make sure you know what you're doing. But also, you need to share goals with people. And that's one thing that he did. He shared the goals with them. He told them why he was there, what he wanted to do. He rallied the people together. And that's something you've always got to do. And if you're going to be successful in this recipe of following God and leading people, he was the right leader, then you've got to share with the people. Otherwise, they don't know what to expect or they don't know where you're going. But here's something very important right here. Let's see. Let me look in the book. He established the right authority. Verse 18, chapter 3 says, Then I told them of the hand of my God which was upon me, good upon me, as also the king's words he had spoken to me. He had the authority of God and the authority of the king, and he reminded the people of that. And oftentimes, as we're leading people, we need to remind them, this is God's work. And as God's man, we have that authority and that leading in his will to perform the task, whatever it may be. So these are just a few lessons on leadership from Nehemiah that you can take and you can stir them up and put them in your ministry pot. And who knows, you might have a pretty good tasting dish when it's all said and done.